Hey, welcome to Life in the Leadership Lane. I'm your host, Bruce Waller, where I get to talk to leaders that are making a difference in the workplace and in our community. What did they do to get started? And what are they doing to stay there? And oh my goodness, we are right in the middle of our HR Southwest Conference Speaker Spotlight. And today I'm bringing you another special guest, another speaker for the upcoming HR Southwest Conference coming October the 11th through the 13th in Fort Worth, Texas. And today I'm talking with Kolby Goodman. Kolby, how you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Bruce, I am doing great. Thanks so much for having me on today.
I am really excited to get into our conversation. You're going to be speaking at the HR Southwest
hmm
Conference about building your A team with the AI age. I'm curious, have you ever spoke at the HR Southwest Conference or attended?
I'll be a newbie. It's my first time.
Oh,
I'm super excited to come out.
okay. All right. Well, let me just follow that up with, have you ever been to Fort Worth, Texas?
Not been to Fort Worth, no. So
All
it's a
right.
whole new adventure for me.
All right. Well, you're going to have to come. There's a lot to check out here, man.
This California kid is going to be a little bit out of his element, but I think I'll be okay.
I love it, man. Well, I definitely want to get into your story and talk a little bit about your topic, but let's go ahead and kick it off. Like, share
Yeah.
a little bit about you, the Colby Goodman story. Like, where did you grow up and what led you to, doing your speaking, your
hmm
keynote speaking, and then all things leadership?
My story starts here in California. I went to San Diego State University
Oh,
and graduated in 2008. So right
okay.
around the housing crisis, or as I
Oh,
like to
boy.
say, about 3 or 4 recessions ago.
Okay.
And I came out of college and panicked. Didn't have a lot of job prospects. I don't think anybody did at that point. Didn't want my
Yeah.
parents to become my next set of roommates. And so I just kind of took the first thing that I was able to get a hold of, which was doing technical support for a large company here in San Diego. I was the guy that asked you annoyingly, have you turned it off and did you turn it back on again? But ultimately, I was pretty good at it, had always been kind of technically able,
Okay.
and rose through the ranks relatively quickly in tech, mainly because not of my technical ability, but because I was a people person. And if you've ever called the help desk, while those individuals are high experts in technology, they are low experts in people. And so my
Mm.
people skills, my personability, my ability to have good conversation got me far fast in that realm. Got me promotions, pay raises, allowed me to go on cool trips, be on awesome projects. But towards the end of my tenure as an IT professional, I was working with people I didn't really like on projects I didn't really care about, making people I never met a bunch of money. And I said, that's not the value I want to put into the world. And
Mm.
so I did a self inventory, a self audit, and I said, well, what am I really good at? And how can I, honestly, it sounds cliche, but how can I help people? And when I realized people were coming to me asking how I did it, how
Mm.
I got the promotions, got the transfers, like was able to achieve this amount of success in a short amount of time. And I said, oh, well, the thing I'm really good at is not a universal trait. And so I kind of productized it, formalized it, and kind of hung my shingle on Facebook, Reddit, Nextdoor, and said, I'm a career coach. I will coach you for free for an hour. Meet me at
Mm.
the Starbucks. And if you got value out of it, would appreciate you sharing online what you
Okay.
got,
Okay.
how you enjoyed our time together. And that's how I got my first 10 clients as a career coach.
Hmm.
Fast forward a year, was able to build up a business where I could put in my 2 weeks at my corporate job. That was 11 years ago. So
Wow.
that's how I kind of got into the area of HR and
Okay.
entrepreneurship.
Okay.
As I've been helping over 3,500 people all over this time, I'm able to train up and skill up my clients enough where they were opting out of interview processes.
Yeah.
They were getting enough interviews, getting enough traction, enough success in looking for new work that they said, Colby, I'm actually, I got passed on to round 2 or 3, but I'm going to withdraw because I don't have a good feeling about this job,
Mm.
which I love as a coach. It's like, hey, you feel so empowered. You feel so opportunistic that you can say no, which is
Yeah.
really smart.
Yeah.
That got me thinking, what are these companies doing wrongly that are driving away this rock star talent? And so the next evolution of my expertise was understanding how the candidate experience is going to attract and retain more A plus talent.
Hmm.
And that's accelerated immensely in the last few years here as AI tools are now becoming ubiquitous.
Mm-hmm.
on both sides of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that more and more candidates are using AI to essentially game the system. Everything from, chat GPT written resumes that make you look like a rock star for every job to, preparing using AI for the interviews to even using AI in real time on a virtual interview like this is to provide pitch perfect answers to any question an employer will ask. And it's making everybody unhappy because candidates are feeling they have to game the system in order to get opportunities, and the employers are being sold a false bill of goods with every candidate because they're just
Mm-hmm.
being told what they want to hear, not what is actually like the truth of that candidate. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I've done in my keynotes and in my workshops like I'm giving there at HR Southwest is how do we help those on the hiring side inject more humanity and curiosity
Mm-hmm.
into the hiring process? Because ultimately, and what I do in my talk is I speed run the last 150 years of hiring, where I go all the way from industrialization,
Mm-hmm.
where I joke that if you could show up on time and were sober enough, keyword there, sober enough to do the job you were hired, to
Yeah.
now we're having robots talking to robots. So what's
Yeah.
broken there? So what I talk about in my talk and what I love helping my audience with is how do we make it, how do we evolve it from unintentional interrogation that the
Mm-hmm.
interview can become into this positive meeting of the minds to say, as an employer, I have challenges, I have missed opportunities, I have pain points that I'm experiencing that I would love you, candidate, potential expert, to help us solve. Let's talk about how we might be good fits for each other.
Mm. So good. So good. There's so much here. My brother graduated from San Diego State University
Fellow
and lived in
Aztec,
San Diego for many, many years. And he moved to Texas a few years ago. And man, I'm a big fan of San Diego. It's 70 when you wake up, it's 70 in the afternoon, it's 70 at night. I love that. This is good. This is real good. Well, let's just jump into the HR
sure.
Southwest Conference. And if you're listening and you have not registered, you need to get online and register at hrsouthwest.com. It's coming October the 11th through the 13th at Fort Worth, Texas. And if you are registered or when you register, be sure and check out Kolby Goodman's session. And he's going to be talking about building your A team in the AI age. And so let's talk about that for a second. When you think about like you're preparing for this and you talked a little bit about how you're going to like show them from, hey, here's what was going on, in the past. Here's what's happening now. I don't know. You don't have to give away your whole presentation, but I don't know. For those who are listening right now and they're like, okay, this is very interesting. I'm interested in learning more. Share a couple of, I don't know, a couple of things you might be sharing in your session that people might be interested in.
I want my audience to walk away with a mindset shift
Hmm. Hmm.
because I think the way we look at hiring is we're looking to pay somebody to do a job. That's how we've
Okay.
looked at it, right?
Yep.
But you don't simply want somebody to do a job, right? That means you have to tell them what to do, you have to handhold, you have to unintentionally micromanage, right? What you're looking for is to bring in an expert who can proactively solve problem and most importantly, remove pain. You
Remove
want to hire a
pain.
rock star who can either prevent the fire or put it out before you even know it's happening,
Hmm.
who can predict your needs as the manager, who can help disseminate that problem solving mindset amongst your team. But the conversations that we continue to have in interviews are tell me about a time you did this job. And it doesn't match, it's formulaic, it's predictable, it's gameable. And so helping you as a manager to get a little bit more selfish to say, I don't want somebody to simply come in and do the job. What, how can somebody prove to me that they are the right person who is equipped and excited
Hmm.
to solve these problems?
It reminds me of something I read recently about everything changes whenever you shift from what can I achieve to what can I contribute.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a purpose-driven mindset, and that's a little bit what you're talking about. Is like, hey, let's give the team member some purpose and show them how what they're doing really makes impact, right?
Makes impact and allows them to face challenges that they're excited about,
Yeah.
right? I think a lot of us have spent probably too much time in our careers solving problems
Yeah.
that we hate, that we don't care about, that don't allow us to tap into our given and our acquired expertise. And so if you can get more people to, I argue, choose the stress and choose the challenge that gives them the most energy, then they contribute more, they drive up profits, they drive down costs, they increase margins, and everybody is happier in doing so because we're choosing the stress that we love.
Yeah. One of the challenges I think it might be, and just from my point of view, is that, whenever you're teaching or coaching or helping your team members, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time. And you're busy, busy, busy. Like everybody's busy. How do you do that? How do you teach that? Because it's almost like it's got to be prioritized. You got to block
Mm-hmm.
time for that. You really have to be intentional about what you're talking about, right?
I think as a leader, it's really easy to give the answer.
Mm,
Hey, boss, like we have this problem with this big client. What should I do? And then you
mm,
just give the answer, right?
yeah,
And you're kind of you train your team to be order takers, and then
yeah,
you become the bottleneck. And while that's super frustrating, I think a lot of leaders can't see, and myself when I was a leader, is that you get resentful of your team because they come to you for everything, but you've trained
yeah,
them to do so.
yeah.
And so an easy way to do that is simply just to redirect. It sounds a
Mm,
little bit annoying, but it's like, what, yeah, we have a problem with this big client. I need help. Cool. Like,
yeah,
what are the top two choices you're debating on for the solution here? Okay. Which one do you think we should go with and why? So teaching taking 30 more seconds to pause the conversation and to restrict the instinct to give an answer, to then teach ways to think, teach ways to process.
yeah.
Because ultimately, maybe you want to give your thumbs up or the stamp of approval for anything's done. But if somebody comes to you with a well thought out plan and strategy and off ramps and like timelines, and you just have to review and say yes versus come up with it full cloth, and that you expect and empower your team to do that, at that point, like the ship kind of runs itself.
Mm.
And you're able, I think, as the leader, selfishly, you're able then to solve problems that you really love versus being brought down to the problems that your team is encountering and feel like they need to go to you for help.
I love it. I love it. Sounds like it's gonna be very engaging. It sounds like you might even be giving some homework. I do like to ask this question though, Colby. Um, we go to these conferences and we learn so much. We get
Mm-hmm.
inspired, we get energized, we're motivated. We get back to the office and we start putting some things into practice. How do you, I don't know, for the attendees, someone that attends your session, they go back and they start applying what you shared. How do they know they're having success? Because a lot of times it takes a long time to see results. It takes a long time to see if you're having success. I don't know, are there some signs that people might see? They're like, hey, I'm on the right track, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good question because I think the half life of a conference is only as long as the unread amount of emails you have in your inbox when you get back from the conference.
Exactly.
It's And so I think to really make it's habit building, right? And knowing that at first you are going to suck, and that is not a bug, that is a feature. So it feels hard, that's progress. I would
Mm,
say too, in order to guarantee progress, you have to make time for progress. And so calendaring is super important. Again, because like especially as a leader, right? Where you come in and you have your inbox and you have the needs of the people below you and you have the demands of the people above you, there are days where you do a lot and you get back get settled at 4:30 before you got to get out at 5 and you're like, what did I even do today? And so making
mm,
sure to draw boundaries around your time to work on the stuff from the conference. Hey, like I'm gonna take 10 minutes today and I'm gonna work on Kolby's framework, or I'm gonna take 15 minutes
mm.
today and share an email with my team about the top 5 things to take away from the keynote, or I'm gonna email the 4 people that I met that I want to have coffee with this week. Like I think it has to be blocked out. And so I think, and as we're talking here, I have a new talk idea. It's like, okay, how do you making the most out of the conference post conference? Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking of here. But it's like I think calendaring it in, being purposeful, and also knowing that like progress isn't linear. Like
Yeah.
if you're struggling with this, if you're still it's not clicking in your interviews, or if you're still instinctually giving your team the answer, that's okay. But as long as you're aware of it,
Yeah.
right? There's unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, and then conscious competence, right? So
Mm.
as long as you go from knowing you're not doing a good job, that's a win.
I love that. I love all that. This is going to be so good. Kolby Goodman's going to be speaking at the HR Southwest Conference, October the 11th through the 13th in Fort Worth, Texas. I believe I saw you are speaking on the 12th, I believe.
Believe so.
But be sure
Yes,
and
that
check out the
Monday.
agenda. Just look
Yes.
for his topic, Building Your A Team in the AI age. I think this is super important now too, because I feel like we're just now scratching the surface. So what you're talking about today is going to build things for attendees for tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's a good starting point and allow you to learn some things to kind of start putting into practice, right?
I mean, technology is evolving so flipping fast, right? And I think ironically, we need to start putting the human back in human resources a little bit
Mm,
more.
yeah,
I think AI is good for a lot of things. It's good
yeah,
for the computation and the analysis, but I think that we've kind of gotten into habits and expectations that don't serve us anymore. And so, what I'm hitting on in my talk is, again, how do we humanize this process more? How do we have actual conversations? How do we remove the performative aspect from the interview on both the candidate and the employer side so that everybody wins?
yeah.
Um, because obviously it's not working anymore. Something needs to change before we all go mad.
This is so good. I love it. Hey, when your session's over, do you ever think about like, I don't know, what you're hoping for at the end of the session? Do you ever think about that ahead of time?
Oh yeah,
And if so, what do you think about? Like, what are you hoping
yeah,
to, I don't know, maybe hear from attendees or any thoughts around that?
yeah. So I want a mindset shift. I want my talk to be not just an informative 60 minutes, but a transformative
Mm,
60 minutes. My hope is to have everybody come in and be a little bit different in how they think, how they act, how they look at the problem when they leave. What I love to see in my audience is first, when I look out there and amongst the sea of people that'll be there in the standing room only
there you
room that
go.
I'll be in,
Oh, I like
uh,
that. I like that vision.
is a combination of wide eyes and like surprise
Yeah.
and then slow nods of confirmation,
Mm,
right? I've learned something and I agree with it.
yeah.
And I think, and again, the goal there and what I do in my talks is yes, I give away the slides as everybody asks for, but I also provide additional resources, including a customized website
Oh,
for the audience that
okay.
helps them put into practice what I talk about. Like I mentioned before, the knowledge you get in a conference is only as long as the fires you come back to after the conference is done.
Mm,
And so my goal here is to make it as easy and actionable as possible to take what I talk about and inform my audience on to put it into practice. And I think that is where I love seeing the transformation is that I, you know, I know that here's the problem, here's the solution, here's how you specifically in your unique circumstance, in your, particular company with the problems you're solving, here's how to apply this framework to your extremely one in a million unique situation.
mm.
I think there's a lot of solutions given, but where the breakdown is like, how does this work for me? Right? How do I connect the dots back to me in my circumstance? And my job is to make it as obvious and easy as possible to action as quick as possible.
That's good stuff. I love that. I wrote down transformative because I always talk about I want to be the best 60 minutes of someone's day whenever
Mm-hmm.
I speak. And you like added a word in there. You wanted to be a transformative 60 minutes. And I love all that. And so you're going to love this session. I need to check it out too. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Kelby Goodman. He's coming to the HR Southwest Conference. It's going to be October the 11th to the 13th. Be sure and register at hrsouthwest.com. And check out there's I don't know, there's probably close to 100 sessions. We've got some
Yeah.
great keynote speakers, got an incredible marketplace, and it is just one of the largest conferences in the country. And you will just absolutely love it. Be sure and check out Colby's session, Building Your A Team in the AI Age. You're going to get a lot out of that. I do like to ask my guests as we kind of conclude here, have you
Mm-hmm.
ever been given any advice whether it's as a
Mhm.
speaker or just as a business leader. Have you ever been given any advice? It was just so good. You find yourself sharing with others.
Yeah, I love that question. This goes back to my IT days. I was
Okay.
IT operations manager in a software development firm, so doing IT inside of an IT company. And I had a project manager tell me once, if your version 1.0 is perfect, you're too late.
Ooh.
And I love that. And it stuck with me all this years later. And I think it goes obviously well beyond software. I think a lot of people in their lives, in their careers, in their companies think they have to build in a vacuum and make sure that thing is perfect before they launch, before they post, before they have a conversation, before they go up and shake a stranger's hand.
Mm.
But if you wait, that moment is going to pass. You are going to be lapped. You are going to be left behind. And so iteration and trying and actioning is key, right? Like I said before, like if you're bad at it at first, it's a sign that you're doing the right thing. Because if you aren't doing anything, that's the worst case scenario.
Mm.
And so it's for me, it's getting out there, it's doing, it's kind of how I live my life. Like why I love speaking and doing this is from a history of doing um, improv comedy. So if you've ever seen the show like Whose Line Is It Anyways, where they get up there and they
Yeah.
get a suggestion and they have a little scene or they play a game, I learned how to work with out of net, trying to get up in front of 30, 100 people a night to get them to laugh. And that was prime example of not waiting to perfection. You just go.
Mm.
And I think the more that you can do that, and I would argue the less you think and the more you act, coincidentally, the farther you go.
So good. So good. Oh my goodness. My daughter always talks about you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get better every day.
Yep.
And that's a little bit about what you're talking about. But I love how you frame that up. This is so good. Listen, if you when you attend Colby sessions, you're not only going to learn how to build your A team in the AI age, you're going to be inspired. This is so good. I can just tell you're a very inspirational, energetic person, and so excited. That you're coming to our conference this year. It's going to be so good. Hey, I do want to kind of conclude here with what I call it's time to accelerate. And I
Okay.
just want to ask you some fun questions.
Sure.
You speak a lot. You're a keynote speaker. You have a favorite city?
You know what, Bruce? I am so lucky. I get to live in my favorite city.
Oh,
San Diego is amazing.
yeah.
I live 20 minutes from the beach. Like you mentioned earlier, weather is just never a factor. Like I've
Uh,
never had to, dig out of my driveway, humble
mm.
brag. It's not super hot ever. It is not the cheapest place in the world,
Uh,
but you know what? It's worth the sunshine tax, as we
yeah.
call it here.
I've done the scooters on Seaside Village before.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, 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 amazing place. Okay, something I always feel like, great leaders, they have a common thread and they're continuous learners. What's something you've always wanted to learn?
It's a really good question. I knew you were going to ask it, and I was thinking about it earlier. I want to learn the bass guitar.
Oh,
It seems like the bassist on every
mm,
rock band, on every stage, just seems like the chillest, coolest person.
they're
They're
chill.
like laying down these like
Yeah,
funky bass lines, and it kind of sits low on your body. You're like,
yeah.
it's fluid, it's flow. I like it. It just looks so cool.
Love that.
So that I think the bass guitar would be
Yeah,
my ideal muse.
that is so cool. I love that. I love that. Okay, I got two more for you. What's something, you've shared a little bit about you today. And so for those that are going to be attending the session or those that just want to just start following you, what's something that they may not know about you, Colby?
I've already my go-to with this is my improv comedy. I did that for over a decade.
Yeah,
I love it.
I
I already
love
give that
that.
one. So
I love
let me
that.
give you a
I
new
can tell
one.
you're a funny guy.
I try to be witty and banterish and be present. I would say the one thing that you wouldn't know about me if you didn't look close enough, and you can't really see it here on the Zoom, but as a kid, I was extremely accident prone. So much so that my local ER in the town that I grew up knew me by my first name. Multiple broken bones, over 120 stitches throughout my
Oh,
lifetime.
wow.
At my ER at my hospital, they give you identification cards, and I was literally given a gold card because I was
Mm.
such a frequent flyer.
Wow.
Luckily, I haven't been in the hospital for any injury since I was about 13 years old.
Yeah.
But I do know the universe will probably come back to haunt me because I have two boys now, ages 4.5 and 10 months.
Okay.
Knock on wood, we haven't had too many scares,
Yeah.
but I'm sure my first stitch out of those two boys is just only a
Oh.
matter of time.
Oh my goodness. Well, and that's all about too about it's inspiring about overcoming challenges or looking at challenges as opportunity.
I think you just have to look back and laugh, right? Looking
Yeah.
at my parents, I think it would have been really easy to panic at every drop of blood
Yeah.
or every cockeyed bone.
Yeah.
But they were very calm and
Yeah.
collected and
Okay.
focused, which helped me be the same in that very
Yeah.
scared
All
state.
right. I can't wait to meet you, man. You're coming to HR Southwest Conference, getting ready to ask him his last question, but be sure and register at hrsouthwest.com. And here's my final question. I've had over 260 guests on my show over the last 7 years, and I've asked them all this question. And the question is, Colby, 10 years older. He's around the corner right now, and he's knocking at your door, and you are going to get up and answer the door. What's he going to tell you?
I think he would tell me, similar to what I would tell Colby 10 years ago, is that you are doing a damn good job
Mm,
to keep going and to continue to show up. I personally, I think a lot of people that I know, especially entrepreneurial, especially high achievers, never feel like they're doing enough.
mm,
And it is this disease because it never feels enough. You're never satisfied. You
mm,
always feel behind. And I think if the elder statesman Colby walked in the door and put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Hey man, like keep going at this pace. You're doing great. Like you're doing what you're supposed to do," it would be a sign from the future that like I'm on the right path. And then to
mm.
not stress as much and to not um, to trust my own gut and instinct to continue doing what I'm doing because I'm doing the right
I love that. I have chills and a full page of notes here.
thing.
Oh my goodness. Kolby Goodman, he's coming to the HR Southwest Conference. Be sure and register HR Southwest, hrsouthwest.com. Register. Be sure and check out a session along with all the other sessions. And it's going to be such a great week. I cannot wait to meet you and see what you are sharing with the group. Hey, there's somebody listening right now. They're like, "Hey, man, I'm going to get registered or I'm registered, but I want to follow Colby now. I don't want to wait." How is the best way for someone to connect?
The best way to find me is on LinkedIn. Probably
Okay.
spend too much time on that platform. That's the best way. I try
Me
to
too.
post regularly, comment, engage.
Okay.
So feel free to reach out there, send a connection request. Let me know that you heard me here on Bruce's amazing podcast and
Love
this
that.
great conversation. We'll be happy to connect pre-conference so that we can meet in the flesh at come October.
I love that, man. I cannot wait to meet you. I appreciate you coming on the show today, sharing perspective around your topic at the conference. And man, I can't wait to meet you in October. So listen, have a great day. I can't wait to share this.
Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate the time.
Awesome. Okay, I'll talk to you later.